discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketраdio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and Panel.
Dave, take over. I got to go out and get the new Miley Cyrus album. It's a pop opera with a fantasy. I mean, I've been waiting for this all my life.
Joe?
Yes, Dave?
You got a job to do here. Let's get with it, kid.
If it's sold out, I tell you.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
I'll buy you one if it's sold out. Right?
It's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us on this Friday morning.
Ladies and
May
gentlemen, he's
the
referring
30th.
to this item in the newscast
that we just had,
before the program began. Now, those who are listening live know that on Friday, but the folks who are listening on the replay,
they have no idea
that.
what I'm talking about.
And thank God the replays are back on the website. Too.
Oh, very good.
Gosh,
that's Dave Richards, who's been talking for a few minutes right there.
Yeah.
Melissa Murray cannot be with us today, but
gee whiz.
Rachel Lane is here.
Heck with it. Melissa's not going to be here. Why bother?
Yeah,
you went to the second string.
Get off the bench. You're in. You're starting today. Rich Lane, how are you, Rich?
I'm good. Good to be here. Good to be here.
Excellent. Our first segment, sponsored the Coffee and program, is the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. Dave, what do you see in your email from the Chamber?
I see legislative updates, Joe. Lots of them, of course. The Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce is always into the advocacy and letting you know what's going on. At the State House last week, they had laws on price transparency that might affect some of our businesses in the area. The House budget is being updated. Tax credit reforms, identity theft revisions, new employment tax. Oh boy, it's in the Senate. It's too bad that Melissa's not here. We could have teased her about that one. And you get on income taxes on income and wealth. They're all being looked at the legislature down in Providence. Let's talk about some happy things, though. Some nice, wonderful things going on. Like next Tuesday, June the 3rd, it's high stakes and handshakes at the Kirkbrake Country Club in Lincoln. It's casino night, 5 to 7:30. You could register if you had an email like I did and had your. I pushed the wrong button there, Dave. Okay, there we go. I just obliterated my script. Think I'll use the touch screen instead. Sometimes you get an easier, play with the touch screen. Then on Wednesday, the 6th of August, there is the At Work Collaborative Welcome Wednesday down in Providence, the executive golf outing. They're making a big deal about this. Why? Because it always sells out. It's coming up in September, but now's the time to get in there because if you wait, you may not get a chance. I mean, there is a certain capacity to golf outings. I mean, there's just so many golf balls out there and so many tees. And there's just so many people who can fit in the banquet room afterwards. So, so anyway, just get a hold of the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce if you want to be a part of any of these things. Find out what's going on. I'm sure that you'll find that a membership in the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce is cost effective for you. Whether it's a side hustle or a daily business or a life's career, the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce can help you. 334-1000. Call after 9 o'clock this morning because the show's on till then.
All right, Dave, thank you. And we're going to start things off. We're going to get both of you persons' opinions on a
both of you persons.
Yeah, both of you.
That's eloquent.
On a scenario that just
Where
took
is
place.
Melissa anyway? Let's get her in.
And the audience can weigh into if they like. And here's the hypothetical, which actually just happened. As I'm coming into the station and I'm driving down Park Avenue from Park Square.
Daily.
Yes, I do. Coming in the opposite direction on Park Ave is a school bus.
Yeah.
All right. The school bus, the yellow lights go on.
Yes.
Okay, I know it's going to be. I can see the person they're going to pick up.
Cool.
All right. And the red lights go on. The stop sign comes out, and I stop. I'm the first person in line.
Okay.
On the other side of the bus.
Side.
So it's me. I'm number one. Person gets on the bus. The monitor on the bus does their duty, checks all around, gets back on the bus. Okay, the bus driver then closes the door, shuts the lights off. The stop sign comes in off the bus and doesn't move.
And the bus doesn't move.
Yeah. So I went.
Okay.
Everything all right?
Yeah.
Dave?
I can't say anything wrong with that.
Okay, all
all
right.
the markers have been shut off. You saw that
Yes.
they did work, so
Yes.
no question of whether they were working or not.
I don't know why they didn't move. I'm like, well.
You don't know if the bus stalled.
Waiting
you don't
for
know
the
at
answer.
that point.
That's a bus driver. I can tell you that. That's a bus driver being considerate of other motorists, where they're waiting for the youngster to sit down, find a seat. Maybe there's some delay, can't sit with the kid they want to sit with. I don't know. But they're waiting for the youngster to sit down before they put the bus in motion, because they don't want the bus in motion while the kid's in the aisle. Unlike the bus drivers when you and I were going to school, Joe,
So you're on
where
the,
they'd slam
go.
on the gas and you go lurching to the back while you were in the aisle looking for a seat to sit in.
All right.
But they were being considerate of other motorists by shutting off the markers so that you could proceed.
All right. That was the question I had. Do the lights have to be off and then the bus proceeding before I could go? And I thought I was in the right.
Just the lights.
All right. Glad to see I was in the.
I thought you were going to ask
I was
us.
in the right.
I thought you were going to ask us for money to help pay the ticket.
Well, I looked around first. I saw no police. I said, okay, I'm going. But is someone writing down my license plate? I don't know. So, all right, I feel
But it
better.
makes you feel self-conscious, and that says a lot about you, Joe.
Yeah,
You
well, I
wanna
just
do the right thing.
Am I doing the right thing? I think I am.
You've done good, Joe.
Thanks.
You've done good.
I stopped in
And
plenty of time.
if they give you a heartburn on this, send them to me, Joe. I'll speak
Oh,
for you.
sure. I'll send the ticket over.
Attaboy,
to you,
Dave.
All right. This. So, Rich, you were at World War II Park on Memorial Day. You were there for the unveiling of the banners. Very cool. Very
was.
nice.
I'm going to tell you, it was what a heartfelt and what a great. First of all, the weather
Great
was
idea.
awesome.
And the weather was great.
awesome, and we got everything set up there about 10 o'clock in the morning. Joe Gennaro and Margot and Sue from the mayor's office were there, and we were all setting everything up.
And Linda plays too.
Yep. And then Dave, I saw Dave up there and setting up his gear for the broadcast.
Yes, I was. I wish I could have been more hospitable, but actually, we weren't ready for broadcast till 3 minutes before 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just stuff.
Stuff.
And you came over and you were trying to help me. You were saying, okay, now where should we put the banners? Well, how many do we have? We have 8. We could put 4 on this side, 4 on that side. So I says, if you put 4 on this side and 4 on that side, it doesn't make any difference which side you put them on, because they're on both sides.
There you go.
It's cool. So I
Side
go
by
back
each, as they
I
say
go
on
back in
the
the
side.
truck, and now it's time to reveal the banners.
Yeah.
And so the 4 on the right side didn't get put up. Something wrong with the stand or something like that? It didn't jive? Whatever.
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
Well, the wind was raising havoc with the black sheathing that they were using to block them over for the reveal.
Getting some of the scouts were there, and they
Right.
held those down. Thank you to the scouts.
That's right.
Without them, everything would have blown over.
One of them is obviously done their screen test to be a TV star, because she was in line with the podium, and she was on TV all the time trying
the
to get
shot.
that stand.
I'm like, why? When I'm watching it, because I was watching it at home, I'm like, why is
that girl
Why is
standing
she
there?
standing there? But then I saw her hand out to her right. Oh, she's holding something. Well,
Yeah.
that's the surprise. All right, she's supposed to be there.
Right.
All right, good.
And so this is the story, and this is how it goes. That if you've seen it on the television stream, then you know. And a lot of people did watch it. Thank you very much. So I'm caught by surprise, because I know there's nothing standing on the right side of the stage. On the wide shot, I could see that. But I did not see behind the monument how you had them stacked up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't see how Commander Rob and Rich over here grabbed the first 4 and held them up on the right-hand side so everybody could see, and family members could come and stand by them.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. The whole first one, my camera was on Joe describing the actions of that soldier. And so I never did get a chance to see the first one, because I didn't catch on till I did another wide shot that that's what you were doing. I saw you putting it away. So who was the first one?
The first one was Rich GM Moyson, Moyson.
Now, their family wasn't present.
Correct.
So we didn't miss a picture of the family.
That's
but I
correct.
did miss a picture of the banner.
That's right. Well, Rich is was a Vietnam veteran.
Right.
Wasn't killed over in Vietnam. What we did is
You went in backwards.
yeah.
to-
What we
to the
did is
oldest
that
to go.
the 4 banners that were behind the sheet
Yeah.
were KIA MIA.
Right.
Killed in action, missing in action. That was the last 4. The first 4 we did were war veterans that have passed on due to natural causes or
Right.
whatever.
They survived the war, but not the rest
That's
of it.
correct. And two of those first 4 were members of Post 85. We purchased the banners for them. But with Rich GM, one part of the story that wasn't told with him was, of course, the funny part is that Rich used to always sit at the American Legion post with a beverage in front of him,
Sure.
and his telltale sign, and we laugh about it till this day, but some of the bartenders did get a little aggravated with it every once in a while. He'd take a Keno ticket, and he'd
Right.
just like flap it in the air. In other
Like
words.
he was ready.
Yeah, like come get my Keno ticket.
I
But
picked my numbers.
yeah, we laugh about it now. But with Rich, he was aboard the USS McKeon in Vietnam, and that was a destroyer off of the coast of Vietnam, and their job was to basically shell and bomb the North Vietnamese off the coast. Well, Rich said that his executive officer in the ship probably didn't like him too much because all of a sudden he was transferred to gunboats on the rivers.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Yikes.
So
that's putting you in
so-
harm's way.
so he said, and back then, and this his own words, because the way I got him, Dave, was remember we did the broadcast
Right.
with the Vietnam veterans,
Sure.
but in Rich's own words, he said that it wasn't a war back then; it was a conflict.
Of
Right.
course.
So he said we were not allowed to shoot until we were shot at.
Right.
On the river?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
He said
Okay.
so.
You gotta-
They had first shot
This,
Oh,
at
this,
us.
this blew the minds of so many soldiers.
I bet.
I got to give them first shot.
That makes no sense.
Doesn't make
but-
any sense. I can see him right there, but unless they shoot at me, I can't do
can't shoot
anything.
at 'em,
Those are
okay.
your orders. You can't violate orders.
Wow.
Yeah. But one thing I did want to tell people, and I think Dave, you probably still got the broadcast right from
It's still up there.
Yeah, so if you want to see it, and if you want to see what the banners look like, that was like the kickoff during the Memorial Day event. So with the banners, I don't want people to think that the only way that you can memorialize somebody with a banner is that person has to that service member has to be deceased. Not the case.
Oh, okay.
Oh, great.
Okay, not the case. For instance, what you have to have is you have to have a tie to Woonsocket somehow. Either been born in Woonsocket, lived in Woonsocket when you went into the military, or if you currently live in Woonsocket.
Right.
So those are kind of the three things. Now, let's say, Dave, you're a Woonsocket resident.
Right.
The person that you want to honor is in the military now.
Yeah.
And you just want to say, that Dave and Denise honor, this person.
Right.
And they're in the military now. You can do that. Why? You're a resident of Woonsocket.
Oh, okay.
You're purchasing the banner to honor somebody.
Sure.
So it can go all sorts of different ways with that. So all you got to
They're
do
going
is
to
have.
hang those on utility poles around the city.
That's correct. That's correct. And that day on Memorial Day, I mean, I just want to thank, Dave for doing the broadcast, of course, but Bob Phillips was there, John
Oh, yeah.
Green was there, members of the city council were there.
Melissa was there.
Melissa, did you see? Of course, Dave, you saw it, and Joe, did you see Melissa's face when this was going on? I mean, she was just so
Oh, she was smiling.
moved.
Remember that.
No, she was just
No?
moved
Yeah.
because this is something that Melissa wanted to do
Yeah, she's
7
had
or
it.
8 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
She wanted to get this program going. I won't get into the particulars of why it didn't get going or anything, but for
Well,
her to see this
Its time
finally,
hadn't come yet.
Yeah.
that's right, and for her to see it finally come into fruition was just great.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to know, I know there's a website that's currently being worked on with a QR code to sign up for any of the banners, but there's paper applications. So if anybody out there is interested in learning more about the banner program, wants to honor somebody, what we are trying to do is, and I know we're going to get it done because Chris Beauchamp, the mayor of Woonsocket, is all in favor of this. So what we're going to try to do is get together with Chris, find out when the banner's going to be displayed. Right now, I think we're looking at the Veterans Day time period.
Nice.
So we got time for sales. We unveiled 8 banners the other day. We're hoping to have right around 50.
Now, these are really striking and very well-built banners.
They are.
Well, they're going to be posted outside, so they can't be flimsy.
Yeah.
So they're well-made. Now, obviously, they're going to have to cost something to manufacture. What are we looking for support price here?
Okay, the banners are $175 each.
Right.
Now, if people out there saying, boy, that's a lot of money, here's a great.
Not for something that sits out
No.
there in the weather.
But I'm going to tell you something. Here's one of the. I love this part of it. Out of that $175, $75 out of that is going to go into a fund to help veterans in crisis.
Oh, that's
Because
nice.
what we do, we get a lot of telephone calls at the American Legion post, and Joe Gennaro from the United Veterans Council gets the phone calls, and Dave Malone, the commander of the American Legion in Rhode Island. We get phone calls all the time of veteran needing help. And you want to know what? It's kind of sad to say in a way, but the only way you can help sometimes is to have the cash hanging around. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I've run into situations where a veteran is all of a sudden not in the street and needs to be put up in a hotel for 2 nights. Because that's a Friday night. We find out the veteran is out in the street. Nothing is really available to the VA until Monday morning. Where are you going to put this guy for 2 nights?
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to leave him out in the street. So you need a hotel room for him. Well, to get the hotel, you need money. So
We had one with Woonsocket Mayor Chris Beauchamp on the show yesterday, Rich, and he talked about having the banners up for the whole month of May because of Memorial Day, and then again October into November for Veterans Day.
Veterans Day, yep. Yeah, it's gonna be a little, and you know that's what I'm saying. We're talking back and forth with him, but here's what I will say: he has been so supportive.
Yeah.
Of this whole venture right from the very beginning. We started to talk with it, and him and Melissa worked hand in hand with one another. And I mean, it's going to happen. You know, and if you're out there and you're saying, well, gee, I want to get one of these banners, you can call the American Legion post at 401-766-7585. Tell them you're interested in the banner. Give them your phone number. I'll call you. And if we haven't got that website running for the QR code, I will send you the paper application form. I'll take your name and address down, and I'll mail one out to you, and we'll get an app to you because we really want to sell these banners, and we really want to make the city of Woonsocket very, very proud to display these.
All right, we're going to take a break on the Coffee and program. And so, Dave, another message, please, from the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce.
334-1000 is the telephone number to call at 9 o'clock this morning when they start answering the phone for another business day at the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. Joe?
Thanks, Dave. And comments and questions can be called in to the Coffee and program, 766-1240.
ON 1240.
JB Liquors is more than just a liquor store. It's your friendly neighborhood liquor store. That means you get personalized service as well as a great selection of beer, wine, and spirits. JB Liquors has everything you need from everyday brews and table wines to craft beers and single-barrel whiskeys. Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 7:30 to 10 p.m., Sundays from 10 to 6 p.m. JB Liquors, your hometown source for beer, wine, and spirits since 1979. 1117 Social Street across from O'Reilly's Auto Parts in Woonsocket.
50-cent nip bottles are available at JB Liquors.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Ever order a pizza that turned out to be not quite what you expected? Order from Ollie's Pizzeria in Woonsocket and taste the difference local love can make. Not only do Sam and Tina live in, work in, and love Woonsocket, they know exactly what it takes to make you the perfect pizza. That's because they have been making pizzas since the 1970s. Sam and Tina have made and served over 2 million pizzas with their combined experience, so they know what it takes to make the perfect pizza pie.
Taste the local love that has customers coming back for more and more at Ollie's Pizzeria, 204 South Main Street, on the corner of South Main Street and Front Street in Woonsocket. Ollie's.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
It's Coffee and on ON Radio. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards and Rich Elaine from Post 85. And Rich, if you're looking for your ball python snake, it's on Angel Road in Lincoln.
Not anymore.
Can you please go pick it up?
Yeah,
brought it
I
to
will. I'll
Lincoln
get there.
Animal
Yep.
Control.
Yep. I got that little rattle I rattle. It comes to me and everything.
They say ball pythons are rather docile snake.
Yeah.
And so there's really no
Nothing-
danger.
Nothing against having them in Rhode Island.
That's
It's
right.
Not against state law.
You can own one, it's perfectly fine, but one escaped.
Your neighbors will think you're
Lincoln.
creepy, but
Or
what the heck?
Or someone let it loose, and it was on Angel Road in Lincoln.
Well, maybe they just got loose.
Maybe they got loose. That's right. All right. And Lincoln Animal Control has it if you want to go pick up your snake, okay?
Oh, okay. Thanks. Thanks.
No word yet still on that train derailment in Cumberland. That happened on Wednesday night. The Providence and Worcester Railroad had 6 cars tipped over
Yeah.
down on High Street and Titus. And no injuries were reported. Well, that's good. And but they're still looking to see why this tipped over. And none of the cargo is hazardous, so hazmat suit people didn't have to come out and
Right.
worry about the river
They
down
just
there.
had
so-
have a little old lady there with a shop vac picking up the plastic pellets.
Can we have those back?
Yeah, right. We want those plastic pellets back.
All right. Well, if you like to follow these things, Dan McKee's approval rating is really slipping.
Oh, yeah.
According to the latest poll,
What, 10 points in a month? Or
10
what's-
points in a year.
In a year. Okay.
He went from 29% a year ago, and that's low to begin with.
Yeah,
too.
that ain't too good to
well,
start.
now he's at 19.
Well, you know, when you
Wow.
do something, anything, you're going to tick somebody else off. And
Yeah.
Dan's a guy who doesn't sit around not do nothing.
And I think maybe it's a perception kind of thing, and they're looking at this whole Washington Bridge thing down in East Providence and saying,
Oh, are they still on
fixed?
that?
Yes. So we got to blame somebody. Dan,
Yeah, gee whiz.
you're at the head of the class.
That's a shame that they they should grow
That's just
up.
an observation.
Well, you look at all the construction that's going on out there, and
everywhere.
you see that, we're getting a brand new bridge, for cripe's sake. And
but
there's a
not
great,
fast enough.
not fast. Yeah, well, then you're being just a little jerk.
Well,
Okay,
yeah.
that's my opinion. If it's not fast enough for you, okay, then you're being a jerk. You have a bridge that's so heavily used,
Yeah.
and there may have been some construction problems. It's way before your time. Now you're presented with this problem in safety right in the middle of the Christmas season. You shut it off and don't use it so that nothing really bad happens. And then you immediately go about getting a replacement, which they don't do like that, So you can see plainly that there's continuous action on getting the new span back up so that it can be used and getting traffic back to normal. A guy like a governor sits in an office. I mean, what's he going to do? He's not going to get out there and build this road. He's got to get other people to do it. And so I don't take points off for what the governor's done. Has anybody made any mistakes? Maybe. Is there a worker out there that can say they never made a mistake? Everybody makes mistakes. And the fact that you made a mistake, the only thing that's important about it, in my view, as I continue to rant, is what you do next.
Rich, do you have any opinion on why the governor's
I
approval may be
wasn't
that low?
done yet, Joe. I
Oh,
wasn't done ranting.
you paused, so
Yeah.
I jumped in.
What?
I ain't jumping
That's
in.
that's in effect. The only important thing about mistakes is what you do next. When you find you've made a mistake, do you, number one, stop doing the mistake? Number two, apologize. Number three, do everything in your power to make it right. Those are the only 3 things you got to do, because if you're no good at that, your mistakes are going to haunt you forever.
All right. No opinion, Rich?
Well, mistake. Just going on Dave saying mistakes. If you remember years ago when they were doing the tunnel project in Boston,
There were a
right?
lot
And
of
what did they find out years later? As far as wasn't it a faulty cement or something like that for the girder?
Yeah, something was bought
Yeah.
underpriced, and it fell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the
so
tunnels.
yeah, you're talking about tunnels that go underwater there. You know what I'm saying? So, But yeah, I agree with Dave.
All right.
Have some patience, for crying out loud. Things are going to get done. You want them done right.
On this note, we got a note called
I disagree
in.
with a lot of other things that he's done. I mean, Dan and I've never made a mistake about it. Dan and I seem to like each other. I don't know if he likes me. He says he does. But although he didn't take me out to the soccer stadium like he promised
should have
on this
reminded
radio
him.
show. But the point is, I mean, friends are friends. Friends tick each other off. You don't always agree with your friends and stuff like that. I don't have a problem with that. Would I vote for him again? It's none of your business. The fact is that whenever you do anything, you're going to tick somebody off. And the more he does, the more people are going to get ticked off.
We had a note called in, 766-1240, that just says this: the governor's biggest mistake that people hold him accountable for, he hasn't held anybody else accountable for the bridge, Washington Street Bridge.
Yeah.
He probably should have let Peter Alviti go. He got at some point, and I think some people would have felt at least a little better about the governor that he wasn't just doing nothing.
To me, that's
if he did something, I let that guy go.
I will go on record as saying that is a juvenile opinion. It doesn't take reality and life into account as we know it as adults. And the reason I say that is this. You could have gone, of course he could have gone and fired the guy. And then we had a brand new guy who didn't know the job come in and have to do all this stuff and replace a bridge. There's time enough to fire somebody if it's proven that they did something wrong. You don't need... The public demands a head.
Yeah.
The public demands a scapegoat. Alviti is the one who went to the governor in December
And told
in the
him the
middle of the
problem.
Christmas season
Yeah.
and said, Gov, this don't look good. We weren't sure. We're sure today. And the governor said, shut it down today.
Right now.
Now that, to me, is the most responsible piece of leadership that these two men have shown in their entire term of office. Now, you're going to fire the guy for giving you the bad news that caused you to save people's lives, maybe? I don't know.
All right. Well, moving on to something else other than the governor's approval rating. The shark that was seen off of Block Island,
No big deal.
but it's 20 feet.
Yeah.
It's a good-sized animal. And people are just going to go, yike, shark, out of the way.
Basking shark.
It's a basking
Well,
shark.
you don't
And
ask
it
for
does-
credentials.
well,
you
you
don't
don't.
ask them if they're
No.
hungry. You give them a
You
wide
get out.
berth.
I
You know,
don't care whether it's a
oh.
basking shark. I don't
It's
care
a
if you
shark.
call me it's a friendly shark. I don't care if you tell me the shark is like Flipper. A 20-foot-long shark, I'm staying the hell away from. I'm
Yep.
telling you right now.
Now,
Grandma, does your dog bite? Only kennel raised.
Yeah. Only-
yeah,
there
sure,
you
right.
go.
these kind of sharks are not man-eaters. They are filter feeders. They
They
eat
are, yeah.
plankton and small marine
like
organisms. So
They're
Yeah, well, if it thinks I'm a small marine
Yeah.
organism, I'm staying away from it. That's all.
They're
I know.
like whales. They filter.
Yeah.
They filter the surface stuff
you
through
just
their teeth.
you
Yeah.
keep your the mouth open and whatever gets in
I'm
there.
not going near it. I'm sorry.
Discretion being the better part of valor, you say.
On that
Look,
one, yeah.
I made it this far. I plan on staying around a few years longer.
There you go.
Oh, so the big before we have to take our next break, the big news came out of Boston last night. There were going to be 2 concerts at Fenway Park. Red Sox are on the road. Last night was going to be Shakira.
Right.
Tonight was supposed to be Jason Aldean and Brooks and Dunn.
And Brooks
Right.
and Dunn.
Both shows canceled. Not even postponed. Canceled.
They don't have a place to make them up.
That might be it.
Yeah.
Unless they decide to go. Well, September is now and then it gets cold. But something went on with the structural, with the overhangs that they were building like it comes as temporary, and they put the staffing up to put a roof over the
Staging.
performance,
Yeah.
the
Staging,
staging.
yeah.
And there was structural issues with the stage, and they said
Wow.
they thought it was going to collapse.
All
And
right.
some people are saying it did collapse, but that hasn't been
Yeah.
substantiated yet. So they said that's it.
And I'll bet you the
we can't
people
have it.
holding tickets want a head for that. They said,
Well-
all right, geez, a safety issue came up, and they stopped this thing from happening, so nobody got hurt. But I want a head.
Well, you can't have anybody fired for this.
Why can't you?
Well,
It's
because
it's
they're
as smart as asking for the Department of Transportation director to be fired.
they're saying refunds. Go back to where you bought your tickets, and we'll give you your money back on this. And
Well, I certainly
and
hope.
I'm reading yesterday. I read people are coming from far away.
Oh, sure.
Some woman came from Colombia to see Shakira at Fenway Park, and now won't be able to see her. And,
Shakira could be performing at the end of my cul-de-sac where I
And you
live,
still wouldn't go?
which would be on either end less than an eighth of a mile. I don't think. I think my recliner would be the appropriate
More
place for
tempting.
me to
More
be
tempting.
sitting.
Yeah, I
correct.
can see
yes.
that. I have late breaking news
Okay, Dave.
from Melissa Murray, who's tuned in this morning.
Yay, Melissa! Hi,
just-
Melissa.
Just can't be with us, is all. And she says, I just posted the Veterans Banner Program information flyer and the link to the online application on our social media pages, meaning WOON's social media pages.
Awesome! I didn't know. Well, thank you,
Well, she
Melissa.
just
'cause I
did it.
did. Yeah, I
Yep.
didn't know that the QR code or any of that was up yet. So wonderful.
So if well, see, Facebook, I remember, is Woonsocket Radio, WOON AM and FM. That's the name of the. There. So you'll find
You'll
us.
find it.
Just look it up.
Yeah,
you
look
know.
it up.
So
Look
just
it up.
you guys just gonna
And
spell it
Melissa,
Melissa
do me a
is-
favor. Send it to me.
Melissa is a great help for us in the office, but her major function here is keeping all of our media, social media, and web pages all populated.
All right, break time on Coffee and more coming up. Comments and questions can be called in 766-1240. Time
She's
for the weather
good at it.
forecast.
Yes.
Brought to us by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Partly sunny skies today with a high of 75. Tonight, a quarter to a half an inch of rain is 80% likely overnight, even a thunderstorm possible after 2 a.m., low of 57 degrees. Saturday's weather, 80% chance of rain, a half to 3/4 of an inch of rain is possible during the day on Saturday. Some storms could produce heavy rainfall, high of 69 for the day Saturday. Saturday night, rain continues but tapering off, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 51. Sunday, mostly sunny skies, high of 66. Wind gusts to 22 miles per hour out of the west. Monday, mostly sunny and 72. Tuesday, sunshine and 75. Wednesday, mostly sunny and 81 degrees. And on Thursday, mostly sunny, high of 78.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, we do have sunny skies with a temperature reading of 63 degrees. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Wow, can you believe Gators Pub is celebrating its 35th year in business? Maybe the key to Gators' success is our super friendly staff. Or maybe the fact that the chefs at Gators are constantly making some of the freshest and most delicious dishes around. If you've never been, come on down and check out our great lunch specials from Monday through Thursday. They also offer complimentary soup during lunch. Watch the Boston Red Sox on one of our many TVs while enjoying classic apps like fresh potato skins or our famous pita chips. Come watch a volleyball game and have a burger or one of our newest cocktail creations. Gators is located on Route 102 in North Smithfield, about 1 mile before Wright's Chicken Farm. Come say hello.
Transforming your house into a home is what they do at Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center. Kitchen trends for 2025 include big color, open shelving, mixed materials, hardware reimagined, keeping it green, and room to gather. Kevin and his crew at Cumberland Kitchen can show you the latest trends and possibly something you have not thought of. Visit CumberlandKitchen.com or stop into the showroom in the McDonald's Plaza on Mendon Road, Cumberland, just off Route 295. Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center.
Hey there, Blackstone Valley. The Valley Breeze is bringing back the Voices of the Valley Awards, and we want you to be a part of it. Who's got the best burger? The coolest hidden gem in town? You decide. Nominate and vote for your local favorites and help crown the best businesses, people, and places in this exciting community competition. Visit voicesofthevalley.net to learn more and vote daily for a chance to win cash prizes. That's voicesofthevalley.net.
ON Radio in Woonsocket.
It's Coffee In on ON Radio. Joe Callahan here with Rich Lane and Dave Richards. And this segment of Coffee In is sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspapers. Dave has the latest Valley Breezes in his hand.
I does, yes. And we have the Cumberland Lincoln edition in my hand right now, Joe. Ethan Shorey writes from Cumberland about a Safe Streets initiative, identifying areas for improvements on streets for safety in Cumberland. Also, we see a great picture in the center over here of the annual Memorial Day Parade in Lincoln this past week. They traveled down Smithfield Avenue to Great Road, and nice pictures there. Very, very colorful, of course. Confidence is gone, Ethan's writing on the front page of the Cumberland Lincoln edition, as Cumberland's planners recommend denial of the Noshon Mill plan because originally the Noshon Mill was talking 100% affordable housing. Well, they say the numbers don't work. They're going back to the 25% affordable ratio, and the planners are saying don't buy it. Just don't allow it, and that will take care of that. Sophia Barr also writes that Jessica Gala of Lincoln High School has been named the 2025 Lincoln Public School Teacher of the Year. Read about it in the Breeze, Cumberland Lincoln edition. Now I have the North Smithfield, Woonsocket, and Blackstone edition of the Valley Breeze in my hand, and I'm looking at some great musical students. You saw them on our TV and on our listened on our radio at Christmas Day, the North Smithfield High School band. And we have some pictures in there, some of the students warming up before their spring concert on May 21st. Also, it says here, now this is actually technically a kind of Woonsocket story, but it's from Bellingham, where the Bellingham board up there hears new testimony from tribal members as the New England Country Club plan evolves. That's, as you know, abuts Woonsocket, but it's technically in Bellingham. And of course, in North Smithfield, if you have water worries, there is free testing going on after PFAS or PFAS.
Yeah.
PFAS was found at the North Smithfield Fire Station. So they're doing that. And out in Barrowville, congratulations to Alex Prestawa, valedictorian, and Emily Cook, salutatorian in the class of 2025 at Barrowville High School. And there's some of the stories. Of course, there's great ads in there as well. The Valley Breeze, free where you shop every Thursday. Joe?
All right, Dave, thanks. Looking at other stories around the state, down in Warwick, a man has been arrested after dead animals were found in his home.
Ooh.
But the bad part about the whole thing is when the police arrive to see what's going on, he decides to assault an officer, allegedly.
Oh, well,
and
allegedly.
and so he's been arrested with a number of different counts. Malicious killing of animals, 1 count of unnecessary cruelty to animals with death resulting, 5 counts of unnecessary cruelty, and 1 count of resisting arrest, as well as the assault on the officer. When they got there, they found a dead dog and a dead parrot, but they did find animals that were alive, including 2 dogs, a cat, and 2 more parrots, and they were all taken away. You know what you can do with the dogs and the cat. Where do you bring a parrot that's been confiscated?
Oh, geez.
Can you bring it to animal control?
Forgive me. If somebody heard me giggle, they're going to think
You
it's
therming Monty
totally
Python or what?
I was thinking of the Monty Python sketch
Yes,
about the dead
it's a
parrot.
dead parrot.
You just hit me the wrong
Sorry,
way.
Dave.
That
It
has
is-
nothing to do with this reality. It's just when I
It's-
heard about the dead parrot, I thought of John Cleese and his dead parrot sketch.
As soon as he
But where do you put it?
Where do you
Well,
bring a dead parrot?
You either bring it
No,
to
where
a
do you
pet
bring the live parrot is what I'm saying.
a pet shop, a licensed pet shop.
But will they take them? If you bring them down to PetSmart, they'll just take it?
Well, they will know what to do with it.
I hope so.
When I say
Okay.
pet shop, I'm thinking of one that sells animals. PetSmart is just a grocery store with pet stuff.
No, they sell animals, well, like fish and snakes
Well,
and mice and.
Not really. Okay. They don't.
But anyway.
It's not where you go to get your doggy in the window.
Well, you
Not
can.
the pet shop. The PetSmart here in North
Yeah.
Smithfield. I've been in. I didn't see any little puppies in there or anything else like that. So to me, it's a new age grocery store for pet
all right.
lovers.
The police responded because there was a 911 hang-up call from that residence. So
Really?
if you call 911 and hang up, police still come out and say hello.
Oh,
So yeah,
geez.
it
I've
doesn't.
got to leave the room.
If that doesn't,
All I can think of is jokes here.
sorry, they don't
It was
say if
the
anybody
parrot
else
that
was
made
there.
the call.
Ah,
That's
okay.
the joke. No, I'm leaving the room. I got to get sober here. Sorry.
All right, go have some coffee, Dave.
God.
Martin Scorsese's in town.
Really?
Well, he's in the state, and Leonardo DiCaprio. They're going to be filming a movie
Cool.
down in the Ocean State. I just want to put it out there that I'm available. My credentials are: I would be perfect if you need a dead body on the ground. I can do it.
Yeah, I can just lie there for
Ju-
hours.
lie there, hold your breath for 10 seconds while we get the shot. No problem. I got it. Or if you need someone, I always thought I'd be good at this. I mean, if you need someone like an authority figure, like a judge, that always has very few lines. I mean, I could say overruled and sustained as good as the next guy.
Yeah.
But you look intelligent, but all you're saying is 3 words. So I can pull that, and I'm the right age for it. So I could pull it off, I think. So.
Like a cousin, like that movie Cousin Vinny there with Fred Gwynn, right?
I could be
that,
Fred
that
Gwynn.
judge.
Yes.
You could be that Fred Gwynn guy. That's right too.
He had way more lines to memorize, so I don't need it quite that extensive. So, all right, other things going on. What? Oh, there was. Speaking of law, there was a fight at the Garrahy Judicial Complex this past week.
I'm back. Are we done talking
good.
about the
We're
parrot?
away from parrots.
Thank you.
We're moving on to the fight that took place at the courthouse.
Really?
At the Garrahy Judicial Complex Wednesday or so.
Oh yeah. Outside the courtroom.
8 people were arrested.
Yeah.
And I looked at all their ages, and they say adults.
Just
20,
barely?
20, 19. Someone was 49.
Okay.
But majority very, very,
That's
very
probably
young.
a lawyer.
Yeah, it might have been. It might have been. But no word on what started it. It was one group against this group, kind of thing. But you know, there's something you don't see every day: a fighting in the
well, you
outside
have,
the courthouse.
You have opposing sides
Viewpoints,
showing
yeah.
up before a trial. They meet outside, so there's going to be some disagreement. And how do these people control themselves? Apparently, they couldn't.
Right. All right. So they're charged with disorderly conduct or something along those lines. So, but no word on what actually started that fight.
A disagreement, Joe.
Well, obviously,
Take
it's
it
a
to the bank.
disagreement.
It was a
There's
disagreement.
There's probably your side against my side kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
all right. If you like going to farmers markets, the Rhode Island's Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program is returning this summer. 5,000 benefit cards will be distributed to eligible seniors who have applied through their local senior center. The cards are preloaded with $50 and will be available starting June 1st to 90 senior sites statewide.
This is one of those sad little projects. It's sad that it has to exist.
Yeah.
That fresh fruits and vegetables at farmers' stands, one of the most wonderful things about, summertime, growing season, stuff like that. We love them. But it can be so pricey.
Yes.
So pricey. And you look at it and say, I'm better off go getting a can of green beans than buying these. And it's not as good. It's not bad, but it's not as good as the fresh
As the
stuff.
fresh,
And
yeah.
you want to go fresh, but how do you afford it? Especially people who are on fixed incomes. And that's why this program exists. The only requirement is you have to go through someplace official.
Yep.
So you become a member or go to your local senior center and apply there. Then you'll get the card, and then you can do business with those vendors that will accept the card, and they'll get their money from the state.
And you get
it's a
better
shame you got to do it.
And you get to buy better fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
So, well, that's nice. Well, the Trump administration has come down and has taken a look at Rhode Island and said there are 2 cities as sanctuary jurisdictions in Rhode Island for their noncompliance with federal immigration laws. Rich, take a guess. What are the 2 cities?
Well, I'm going to go with Providence.
Providence is
one.
one,
I mean, that's
okay.
kind of, and I don't know, Westerly.
No, Dave
not
knows.
Westerly.
Well,
I
I'm
was-
sorry.
when I
That
was
was
dri-
my guess. I
when
was
I-
50% right.
When I was driving in, I heard you do the story, Dave.
Right.
I was going to guess.
Yeah.
in
Well,
my
you
car.
know already.
Well, he
See?
already knows, but yeah. I said Providence is obviously one. I said the second one is
Highest immigration content.
I went with Newport, and nope, but it's Central Falls. I said, well, of
Central
course that
Falls,
makes
okay.
so much
Right.
sense.
All right, yeah,
Yeah.
think about it. Yep.
Yep.
Highest immigrant content.
Yeah.
Providence and Central Falls.
Wow.
And Maura Healy's not happy. She's never happy.
That's
But she's not happy with,
yeah.
with the ICE arrest that took place on Martha's Vineyard
Isn't
in
this
Nantucket,
crazy?
because she wanted to be told ahead of time. Well, if we tell you ahead of time, guess what you're going to do?
That's right. You're going to tip off these
Tip them
people we're
off.
trying to arrest.
That's right. So
You're
we're
going
not
to
gonna do it.
impede us.
Yeah.
So for your own good, this is the
We're not
feds now
telling you.
saying, for your own good, we're not going to tell you what we're doing, so we don't have to arrest you for getting in our way.
Yeah,
There you go.
but she's still not
Because
happy.
because the state of Massachusetts has already declared it's a sanctuary area, so
Oh, yeah.
so they will they feel it part of their duty to obstruct federal agents, in the execution of their duty. So why would we tell you what we're going to do so you can obstruct us? Now, that's a bozo moment for Governor Healy,
Present
if you ask
company
me.
excluded, by the way, with that statement. Present company excluded. Like I
What statement was that? I was making a bunch of them.
No, you like protecting the, sanctuaries and things. That's not me.
No.
You could tell me. I'm going to point them out.
The only sanctuaries I protect are churches and marine. So,
you protect the marine?
Marine
I'm sorry about
sanctuaries
that.
is the ocean.
Marine, the ocean. I'm sorry.
I love that the
I'll
governor.
have another crayon.
I love that the governor just says, "Well, we want to make sure the ICE immigration officials are complying with due process."
There you go.
don't get
Yeah, right.
Now, wait a minute. There's a modicum of intelligence in her stupid remark.
But it's a lie. That's
Well,
not what
okay,
she's
I
doing.
Get that. But there is a modicum of intelligence in that stupid remark. For instance, if you think back, and Ray Bacon, my dear friend, will remember this because I think it's he that taught it to me. Remember always that the federal government was made by the states. And so there's a certain respect that's supposed to go on, and a certain, shall we say, fiduciary relationship that exists. Just like a city or town, a municipality, was created by order of a state. So you see, so they say, well, if the federal government was created by all the states together in unison, then we don't have to do what you say. But when you joined the country, you agreed to do what the Fed said.
All right. We're going to take a break. I'm sorry, Rich. We forgot to get to what's going on at Post 85.
I noticed that. I was wondering when you get around to it.
I'm not in charge here.
Instead of talking about parrots, for Pete's
I want to
sake,
talk more about
you're over
parrots.
here.
All right.
Talk about parrots.
This segment of Coffee has been sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspapers. Dave, what do you want to say about them?
I want to say Valley Breeze newspapers, free where you shop every Thursday. Pick one up.
More Coffee Ends coming up. Stay tuned.
OM
A
1240.
large assortment of bag hangers and hanging flower baskets are in stock now at Belo's Flowers. Also in stock now are perennials, sweet and hot peppers, plus 60 different varieties of tomatoes. Speaking of tomatoes, cheater tomato plants are in at Belo's Flowers. The tomatoes are already growing. Stop in today for racks of herbs, potting soil, bagged mulch, and lawn lime. Belo's Flowers, 665 Diamond Hill Road, Woonsocket. Oh, and don't forget houseplants and dish gardens at Belo's Flowers.
WIC is a supplemental nutrition program that plays a crucial role in improving the health and well-being of children by providing families with access to healthy foods, nutritional education, and other essential services. WIC programs help improve the long-term health outcomes of mothers and children by ensuring all eligible families have access to cost-free nutrition resources they need to thrive. If you or someone you know could benefit from WIC, go to health.ri.gov/WIC. Sponsored by the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
You need parts? We got parts. Product availability? Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select brake pads for $10 more, or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
For 70 years, we've been known as the Humane Society of the United States. But as the challenges animals face have grown, so have we. We are now called Humane World for Animals. And with you on our side, we are going to end animal cruelty around the globe. Join us. Humane World for Animals. The end of animal cruelty.
ON Worldwide.
It's Coffee and on ON. Thanks for joining us, Joe Callahan with Dave Richards and
Joe,
Rich
I
Elaine.
wonder
Rich, what's going on at the Post?
Wonder what's going on
at the Post?
Yeah, I got to fly through this because I usually take up more time than
Sorry.
left. No problem. So if you got a pen and paper, what I will say in preface to this is that
Speed listen.
If you want to find out what all this is about, you can go on WON's event site.
Of course.
Right? And it's all there. Melissa takes care of that. But let's run through it, especially the stuff that's right around the corner. I think there's a concert under the pavilion on June 7th.
Really?
Which is but
Saturday.
I don't have it on my sheet. So,
Well,
but
it's
I
not-
believe there
it's not
is.
June yet.
I believe there is, but June 7th. Yes, I believe there's a concert under the pavilion.
Would you
There's
like
a
me to
band
look it
there.
up for you?
Maybe it'll be Shakira.
Yeah, I think it's Wicked West, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong,
It's
though.
not
But
Shakira.
anyhow,
It's not Shakira.
no, it's not Shakira.
Okay,
No,
just-
no,
just double check
it's
it.
Beyonce doing her country album. Yeah. But here we go. Okay, on Friday, June the 13th, all right, and I mentioned this last week, we're going to have a Polish dinner at the American Legion Post from 5 to 8 p.m. There's no advance sale of tickets, but this is all like good homemade Polish food. Polka Paul's going to be there spinning some tunes. We're going to have pierogies, kielbasa, galumpis, cauliflower cutlet, kapusta. Kapusta. And the other one I can never pronounce,
I can't pronounce it either. It's
Cro-
delicious.
Croquetti, but it's croquetti. I guess it's a soup or something. But anyhow, if you can get a plate of everything on that Polish menu, I added up all the stuff for around $20-25. You can try out everything. But all that stuff is going to be available on Friday, June 13th, like I said, from 5 to 8 p.m., big Polish dinner at the Post. On Wednesday, June the 18th, is our first bike night. Motorcycles, if you got a bike that you want to put on display or anything, the registration is from 5:30 to 7 p.m. There is no entry fee for the best bike of the night. We'll give you a $100 cash prize, and there's going to be trophies for the top 3 finishers. Food and drinks are going to be available for purchase. Yes, Dave.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. Your memory is spot on.
Ooh.
7 to 11 p.m., Wicked West on Saturday the 7th at the Post.
Never a cover charge for our bands.
Open to the public.
Open to the public. Now, the big weekend, and get your pen and paper out if you didn't have it ready, but you do now. The big weekend is coming up on Saturday, June the 21st, and Sunday, June the 22nd. Saturday, June the 21st is the American Legion Post Family Fun Day from noon to 11 p.m. We're going to have a petting zoo, face painting, food, fun games, various activities for the kids, and more. The bands are going to be absolutely outstanding on Saturday, June the 21st from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m.
School of Rock.
School of Rock, taking the place apart. These kids are fantastic. And then from 7 to 11 p.m., we got a great local band, Running Wild, from 7 to 11. So all the entities from the Post are going to be there. You're going to have the American Legion Post people. You're going to have the Friends of Fairmont there. You're going to have the Sons of the American Legion there, and you're going to have the auxiliary there. They're all going to be there. If you're wondering how to join any of these entities, Saturday, June the 21st, for a great fun day. They're all going to be there. You can find out all about it that day. Now the next day,
Boobification.
10-year birthday bash. This is Trish Parento from Boobification, who's been on the radio before. This woman has done so much for women and men with breast cancer. She's phenomenal. Boobification is a great organization. Come help celebrate their 10-year anniversary on June the 22nd at American Legion Post 85 from noon to 6 p.m. It's only $20 for beer and dynamite. So you can't beat that for $20.
Wow.
We're going to have live music, Tucker's Creek from 12:30 to 2:30, and then an unbelievably great country band, Bulletproof, from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. There's going to be 50-50. There's going to be Tori's Petting Zoo up there for the kids. So that's American Legion Post 85 on June 22nd, 12 to 6. 10-year birthday bash for Boobification.
All of that, and you didn't mention the Post 85 bike night on
Yes.
the 18th.
I most certainly
Yes,
did.
you
Did you? I missed it.
yeah.
You missed the bike night.
Oh, I
See, I've been reading real fast because
Yes,
I know
you
Joe
have.
wants to
Boy,
get some other
that's
thing.
it by really fast.
Now, the last thing in June, on Saturday, June the 28th, the American Legion Post 85, we are going to have our Rock Fest. It's a full day of rock and roll.
Bring your own rocks.
Bring your own rocks. June 28th from noon to 11 p.m. Radio Badland is going to be one of the bands that day. And Who Made Who, which is not a Who tribute band, it is an AC/DC tribute band.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a cookout type of meal up there. Burgers, hot dogs, chicken wings, plus plenty of sides for $12 for a full plate.
Yep,
How do you
those
beat that
prices-
with
those aren't
free
20,
music?
25 prices,
right?
pal.
Right? The outside bar area is going to be open. There's plenty of parking, beverages for purchase, and as always, no cover charge to listen to our bands. One thing I do want to get to, and I mentioned it last week. In fact, Steve Peluso there from the Do You Remember show actually joined when he heard this announcement.
Nice.
Membership benefits, all right? Now, you're saying, why do I want to become a member of Post 85 or any of the 4 entities down there. Well, I'm going to tell you why. The hall down there can get quite expensive for a hall rental, for a 4-hour rental, right? You join for either Friends of Fairmont, for instance. If you got no ties to the military at all, join the Friends of Fairmont, $20 a year. You will get approximately a 65% savings on the hall or pavilion rental. That more than covers your membership dues. So if you're saying, gee, within the next 9 months, I might need a hall or a pavilion to rent to hold a function, ta-da. Come on down, join any of the entities at the American Legion Post, and you can get a substantial savings right away on hall rentals.
Fantastic.
Okay? Go ahead, Joe. I think I kind of blew through that. But
okay. Thanks, Rich.
Hey, no problem. I'm learning from
here's the
masters here.
Dave, you've got colleagues out in Alaska, right?
No.
No?
My friend. There's a friend from the Idea Bank out there.
Well, that's what I mean. Colleague.
Yeah.
Okay.
Julie.
Yeah, you're going to have to send her an email and say, what's the matter with you people out there? A measure passed unanimously by the Anchorage Assembly to require ID checks for purchase of alcohol in bars, restaurants, and breweries. But it might be repealed almost as soon as it took effect. The measure became law on March 1st and required ID checks regardless of the customer's age. I don't see what the problem here is. Okay. Owners of the affected establishment say the new law is it's upsetting their customers, and it's hurting the city's reputation just ahead of tourist season. A proposed repeal was introduced at last week's assembly meeting, and a public hearing is scheduled for June 10th. Mandatory ID checks would remain in effect at liquor stores in Anchorage, regardless of whether or not the law is repealed for bars, restaurants, and breweries.
So the 14-year-old can't go and get hammered unless they got the correct ID.
That's right.
That's pretty much it, right?
They must be. I'm thinking the more upset people are your 70-year-olds that are going in and being asked for their ID.
That's ridiculous.
That's what's the problem. But it happens around here all the time. It happens in Mass. Happens in Rhode Island.
I got to tell you something. Other than Martha's Vineyard and maybe Block Island, but I don't have any statistical information on that. But I do for Martha's Vineyard. Alaska is one place I think of when I think of drinking.
Well, there's not much else to do other than hunting.
There you go.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to go down to Alaska, you can always come to American Legion Post 85 over.
Well, there you go. You always have something to do there.
You always got something to do.
Right.
I just wonder if they'll repeal the ID check.
Well, it's not so
for
much
everybody.
It's not so much it's an ID check law. It's the mandatory, which makes it intolerant, and I can't tolerate intolerance.
All right. Well, but I've seen it happen at the Xfinity Center in Mansfield. Every person gets asked for their ID, and I've seen 80-year-old guys having to get their license out. But that's not a state law. That's
no, but it's the lawyer making that decision because the insurance
check everybody.
Right, they have to demonstrate how they're complying with the law in an overt way.
Mm-hmm.
So they say, wouldn't hurt to just ID everybody. You sure? That's going to be stupid. Yeah, all right. Hey, you can't go wrong with it.
You know,
can't.
I don't get mad. I mean, come on.
I don't either.
Hey, you want to ID me here. I know you don't want to get in trouble. I'm good
but
with that.
I've also heard people, they're obviously over 21. They're in their 60s or 70s. Why am I being carded?
Yeah.
And the bartenders say, one, you never know when the boss is around.
Right.
And they could be watching me.
There you go.
So I have to do it.
Yeah.
So don't give them grief.
You don't like it? You don't like it? Go to another place that don't do it. There you go. Right?
Yeah, but they're
the owners don't want to hear that.
Yeah, well, no kidding.
All right.
It's just like saying you don't like what they're saying on the radio. Listen to another radio station.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that. That's not a solution.
Don't do that.
Stay away from that.
Well, turn it down for 10 seconds, and then turn it back up.
Okay.
We've moved on. A woman who was shot at CIA headquarters in Virginia last week has been charged with DUI. 27-year-old Monia Sabaro was shot by CIA police officers after she drove a little too close to the front gate. Officers said they witnessed her car swerving and driving on the wrong side of the road before she approached the gate. Reports detail Spadaro admitted to hospital staff she'd been drinking at a bar in Virginia before she was shot. She was previously convicted of DUI in 2021 as well.
So she's going to the CIA. She's trying to go on the property.
It looks like it.
So she's probably like I don't know. Maybe she was coming to work after going to.
Nah, she doesn't work for the CIA.
She doesn't work for the CIA.
No,
Okay.
no.
All right. I was gonna go.
If she worked, I don't think the people would have shot her.
Yeah. It just. Woo.
All right, that'll wrap it up for today. Thank you very much for
Certainly
listening in.
hope so.
Rich Elaine, thanks for coming in.
Hey, thanks
Hope
for
you had
having me
fun.
coming early. I had a good time.
Oh, very good. Dave, thanks for being here as well.
Great time with good friends. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. There's so many things coming up, starting with Gary Smith and the crew next.
That's right. I'll talk to you this afternoon at 2 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket.